Hello and welcome to Minor X. My name is Angelo, and today I am joined by Alicia, Ariana, and Sarah. We are gathered here today in recognition of Banned Books Week, an annual event founded in 1982 by the American Library Association, or ALA. Generally held during the last week of September, Banned Books Week seeks to promote and celebrate such values as the freedom to read what you want, as well as open and easy access to information, while also highlighting specific books that have been the frequent target of book challenges and book bans across the country. As a librarian, one of the most frequently asked questions that I've been asked by patrons in regard to this topic are, does Illinois ban books, as well as are they actually banning books? Is the U.S. government banning books? And I think those two questions in particular come from the fact that banned books is kind of a loaded phrase that sounds a little more extreme than it is, because it's not the U.S. government banning it. It has to deal with local state governments that are essentially banning books from libraries and school curriculum.
Or they're just getting challenged in general and not getting banned at all.
Books have always kind of been challenged, or, content has always been challenged. Sometimes they'll refer to any book that's been challenged as a banned book.
It's true.
That doesn't mean that it necessarily gets pulled. But I just wanted to give you guys kind of a little bit of a recap of where we've come from the early colonial era until today. So a lot of books that are banned today are LGBTQIA, or they're oftentimes by people of color, unfortunately. In the earlier colonial era, oftentimes the books that were challenged were based on religion, and they were spurred on by religious leaders. So in 1650, prominent Massachusetts Bay colonist William Pynchon published the Meritus Prince of Our Redemption, and it was a pamphlet that argued that anyone who was obedient to God and followed Christian teachings on earth could get into heaven. So this angered a lot of the Puritan Calvinist beliefs, because they were preaching that only a select few were predestined to God's favor, and
Yippee.
This was the new popular opinion. So a lot of those pamphlets and books preaching this were challenged.
I mean, looking at LGBTQ content and other sexually explicit content, that's kind of attached to the same sort of religious beliefs.
Oh,
that
it is.
The original...
the trajectory definitely makes sense. And you can see, religion oftentimes plays a role in a person's identity. And so I think that's why it so predominantly is challenged. And it's kind of funny to see that this pamphlet was challenged. Only 4 copies of this survive today.
Oh, wow.
So even to this day...
Are they in a museum?
I don't know, probably. Or some very wealthy person owns it. And then as we went to the Civil War era, so by the 1850s, usually the challenged material was about anti-slavery sentiments. So in 1851, Harriet Beecher Stowe defied this by publishing Uncle Tom's Cabin, which exposed the evils of slavery. And that was one of the most challenged books, I think, to this. It's top 100. It's not top 10, but it's definitely top 100. And so there were also things that people had passed out. So there was a historian that notes that in Maryland, free black minister named Sam Green was sentenced to 10 years in the state penitentiary just for owning a copy of Uncle Tom's Cabin. Whew. But it's also funny to note that this was also happening in the South, where people who were pro-abolishing slavery were putting stuff out, and then any book that was pro-slavery. So, for example, there was a pro-slavery South ban on abolitionist materials, while the Union authorities were banning pro-Southern literature, like John Aston's Cook's biography of Stonewall Jackson. So it was on both ends that they were banning stuff from pro-slavery, also anti-slavery.
Yeah.
Eventually in 1873, it moved on to more of the immorality. So with the Comstock Act, this was a congressional law that made it illegal to possess obscene or immoral text or articles and send them through the mail. So what they considered this was content that talked about birth control and sexuality.
Classic.
Mm-hmm. Especially because birth rates are babies born and the mothers, their mortality rates were at an all-time high. Yeah. So this was very popular then to put out materials saying, maybe we should be careful with our birth control, and this is what you can do to try to limit that. And so those were oftentimes people who had any of that, or if they actually sent it through the mail, were sentenced to prison. In Boston, that was the location of the very first book burning. There, like a lot of people went and challenged books and censored it of anything that they considered indecent. And this included Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass, as well as Ernest Hemingway's Farewell to Arms. It's funny because a lot of authors actually ended up wanting their books to be on this book banning or book burning event
Low-key,
because
I
then
about it.
Oh yeah, because then the popularity of it
most bannable book.
all publicity is good publicity.
Exactly, that's what they
Exactly.
say, and it's true. And even then, in Boston, with the first book burning, they knew that.
Literally, genderqueer it's at the top for 5 years already. Mm-hmm. Most popular book.
Yeah. So then we continue on. Boston is always a big one. And for some reason, New England and Boston had the most book bannings and book burnings. Actually, the Boston Public Library would sometimes lock copies of controversial books in their library in a restricted room that they called the Inferno.
The Inferno.
I want to visit that.
Oh my God.
But now, a lot of times, like local school boards have made it illegal to remove books from school libraries just because someone dislikes the idea that is contained in those books. And the court ruled that unjust in Island Tree's Union Free School District versus Pico, citing the students' First Amendment right. And so now librarians contend with many of the book challenges as well, and that started in the early 1980s, where we started Book Ban Week, which I think, as you heard Angelo say, was an annual event centered around the freedom to read. And then we move back to today's, where unfortunately book banning is still going on.
Same topics too.
And because of today's political climate and extremism on both ends, it is unfortunately more popular than ever in certain states where they're banning books.
I was going to say, one of the questions I get a lot asked from patrons is, does Illinois ban any books? And no, they actually passed it into a law recently.
It was last year?
Was it last year?
I think it was last year.
Pritzker passed it.
Banning book banning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo!
But I wrote down 6 states that are always near the top 10 states that ban the most books.
Can we guess? Can we guess first?
Oh, okay. Well, what do you think?
Florida?
Yes.
Texas.
Okay, you guessed the top 2 already.
Montana?
I don't have Montana down here. I have, let's see,
Missouri.
Tennessee,
Kentucky.
That doesn't surprise
and
me.
then Oklahoma and Utah is the other.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma in particular, I found their case the most interesting, I should say, negatively interesting, which is they basically passed a law that banned essentially critical race theory in school.
Yeah, I remember
They don't
that.
actually specify it as that, but it's such things as students can't be taught to feel bad about their race because of something their previous ancestors did in so they can't be taught to feel bad because of slavery and stuff like that. Yeah. But of course, this is written in such broad language that school districts have used it to ban such books from the curriculum as Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah.
is a big one, which is should be taught in Oklahoma because that's where the Osage tribe happened. Correct?
Believe so.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Hate You Give would probably be another one too.
Oh,
where
for
it kind
sure.
of holds a mirror
Yeah.
up. It talks about teenagers or high schoolers getting involved in some of the protests during the Black Lives Matter movement.
It escalating in a riot and kids getting blamed for being there when they actually maybe weren't. And villainizing people. And
yeah.
It was very powerful. I cried.
Yeah. But just because a book is challenged or a form is put in doesn't mean that you have to make that call to take it off. There was, I think, a library director or library worker who published on their Tumblr or their Facebook or something.
Twitter or something.
Yeah, it was something where
I remember seeing it.
I mean, technically, the forms that people put out there are public information. When you make a request to challenge a book, it is. I mean, anything you do really in the library is public information, and it's out there that if you're making a challenge, people can request to see that through FOIA or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would know. You're the paralegal.
I think the forms say that they have to have specific sections of the book. Like, they have to have read the book. At least in one of my libraries that I've been at, they had to have read the book, and they have to be able to pull the passage that they don't like and, like, present that on the form that they're, like, trying to, like...
So that's what a lot of libraries or schools try to say, you know, like, because you do have the right to challenge. If something doesn't agree with your beliefs and you don't want a child to read it, you do have that right to actually challenge it and put it in a request form. But a library or a school can say, you know, we're not going to take this seriously if you haven't read the book, or we're not going to really challenge this unless, or would take this away if we don't get more than a certain amount of requests against it. But in the one that this person posted, they had a checkbox that said, like, did you read the book? And the majority of people checkmarked no.
Yeah.
At least they were honest.
I mean, that's true. They could have lied. Yeah. But a lot of them is just they've heard through their grapevine. They're like, oh, well, I don't like this. And it's like, how can you say that when you haven't even looked at it yourself?
It's not even a personal reaction. It's a secondary personal reaction.
And sometimes it's almost worse because it's someone else getting you worked up, where maybe if you had just come upon it yourself, you wouldn't have in the first place.
A lot of the groups that are involved in like banning books, one of their major focus is basically like trying to hire as many people. Gather as many people for their group.
There's a name for that. It's like grapevine something.
Mob mentality.
Like mob mentality. I don't know.
But I know I read another article that said 60% of banned books, and this is all going to be possibly not 100% accurate because I can't totally remember it, and I can't remember the article now. But I think the article was 11 people are responsible for 60% of this organization's banned book request.
Just 11?
They organize. I mean, like, that's the thing. Sometimes, like, it's all about how you organize and bring these people together. And if you're worked up enough, what's to stop you?
Okay, let's go. What do we want to ban?
Yeah, this is not about
ban
book week. This is about how you can actually do something.
So I wanted to mention that PEN America every year, they send out basically a report on banned books. This report in particular is 27 pages long, and it's filled with all sorts of stats relating to like most challenged author, states that challenge the most, as well as like subject matter. I was wondering, did all of us kind of look at this, or also the ALAs?
Yeah, I looked at the ALAs.
ALAs is the one we got.
And then between the two of them, just like what kind of stats like really stuck out to you? Was there any in particular?
The kinds of locations in which the censorship attempts take place. So like looking at this sheet, it says 54% take place in public libraries, 39% in school libraries, 5% in schools, and then like 2% in higher education or other. So it's very much centered around like places where children can access books. Mm-hmm. And then it looks like of the kinds of books, they're usually graphic novels or print books, but I guess it's including this 76% is including both books and graphic novels.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then the rest are like 5% displays and like 4% access. So it says library closures funding. I'm not entirely sure. Do you understand what that says? Like
they wanted to make sure that no one had access. So they did things to kind of like make sure no one could get into the library to read these books.
I see. So banning the location in general. I get it. And then hate crimes is also tied for 4%. And then 3% is programs, 2% films, and 6% is other, which
could be a lot.
Could be a lot, for real. And a lot of the times, it's patrons, parents, and pressure groups who initiate the attempts to censor books.
I thought it was interesting that this last year had the highest level of challenges.
Yes.
And that they're targeting public libraries more than normal.
It's very depressing.
Yeah, I always thought school libraries would have been the top.
That's what
targeted,
I thought, too.
Just because it's so much, your children and that kind of thing. But, I mean, public libraries, the majority of the things we do, even though we're all part of the adult services department, like, children are kind of our public libraries' bread and butter. And so it makes sense that that's also high. Yeah. But I am surprised that went above school libraries.
Yeah. And it's funny because, like, for us, we've got a 4-tier library where we have 4 different floors. So it's kind of easy to keep kids corralled onto one floor. So theoretically, there really shouldn't be bans in regards to complaints of children seeing things they shouldn't, because the divide is so clearly obvious based on the floors. But we still get book bans in our, like, whatever, what is it called? Like a feed, submission feed online. I mean, we don't get to look at them as regular librarians. That's basically up to, like, the admin and the director and stuff and the board. But, I don't know, it's fascinating. It's a fascinating topic, especially
really
since we're all
is.
passionate about it.
And I think it's fascinating, too, just that we're kind of, I think with public libraries, like, we can make that argument where we're not in charge of watching what your child does, or we have those kind of different floors to indicate different stuff. Like when we buy a book for our middle school section, we're not going to put something in there that's, you know, XXX or erotica or anything like we're definitely not doing that, and we're not going to do anything that's violent. It's going to be age appropriate.
Correct.
But it's not up to us to make that call of you know, even if it's written in an age appropriate, you know, these kids are faced with things that can be kind of adult, and
It's not the books that are the problem.
Yeah, you can't disclose that from them.
Also, I'm pretty sure that there are some library cards. I think most library cards now, at least in Illinois, don't prevent kids from checking out adult content. But
No.
I do know in other states, there are limiters attached to the library card to prevent kids from checking out things that are not, like, in the juvenile or middle school section.
Yeah.
But like we said, it's up to the parents to observe what their kids are bringing home. It's not your librarian's job.
But that's the thing, too. Like, when we purchase books, we make sure that we have it for all sides of the spectrum. You know,
Yeah.
whether it's like a cozy read or whether it's something like, oh, I want to read this really graphic horror that has some sexual content, or, you know, whatever. Like, that's your call to make. We just have it here.
Yeah. I know there are a lot of people who don't want copies of a book with a political figure, like, in the library shelf. But at the same time, I have to tell, like, some of the people I've talked to, you know, if you want the other half of the coin on the shelf, you have to have both. Mm-hmm. And you can't, the library doesn't control what you read. We only provide it.
I do want to say the reason why I invited Sarah and Ariana here today is because they are the teen librarians. They choose the teen section.
Oh, yes, we do.
One of the stats I'm seeing right now is the type of books that are banned. Of the 3,000 plus instances last year, 61% were young adults. And I just
Classic.
which would fit into the high school section for the most part. But I was wondering if, like, has this, like, affected your job, do you think, in any way?
Oh, all the time.
Okay.
I worked at a library prior to this one, and simply because we had a Pride Month display up, we had an instance where a very angry father, like, approached the library assistants, like, because I was a library assistant at the time, and we had to basically, like, try and de-escalate this situation because the manager wasn't there. Of course, the director and the vice director did not happen to be there. So we were, like, trying to field this encounter that was, like, thankfully not as aggressive as it could have gotten, because that's definitely, people get very protective of their kids and, like, what they think their kids should be able to see or not be able to see. And unfortunately, we're in the line of fire.
Yeah. You know, we're very lucky here at Des Plaines. It hasn't actually come up while I've been the teen services librarian. I've been the teen services librarian now maybe like 5 years, and it hasn't come up to me at all. I think I keep it in mind, like, if we're doing book boxes, you know, where it's a subscription box for teens, where we surprise them with a book every month. And Sarah actually chooses them for the teens now. I did it before her. And so when I was doing that, you know, we would ask if there is anything off limits, and we kept that in mind, where if there is someone who maybe doesn't want any political content or wants to kind of steer away from certain topics, maybe we won't put it in a banned book, or, you know, I mean, because they'll probably most likely get that in school too, and it's still on the shelves if they do want to explore it themselves, and we can always give recommendations that way. But Des Plaines is very lucky and open.
Really are.
We are.
Like, I personally have not gotten any banned book requests.
I don't think I've never had it here either, only at the other places. And it's also funny, because talking about the book boxes, the kids, not censor is not the word I'm looking for, but they censor themselves. Like, they actually don't want that content. They don't want the dark stuff. They don't want sexual explicit
Well, sometimes they
content.
don't even understand
They
it.
don't understand. I mean, I remember not understanding and not wanting it. And it's interesting that, like, even, how old am I? Let's see, like, like maybe 15 years later, they still have that. They know what they want to read. They know what they want to explore at their own pace. And it's almost like parents preventing them from even having access to it is just so counterintuitive. If they don't want to read it and if they don't want to explore this topic at that time, they won't.
And here's the thing, too. By you telling a child,
Oh, God.
don't read this. You're not allowed to read this. Like, don't buy
Guess
this.
what they're going to do?
Exactly. They're going to go out and they're going to look for it and they're going to find it and it's going to appeal to them even more. And so that's the thing. Like, I mean, that's even what I was saying with the book burning, where the author, like in Boston, you know, when they first started banning the books, they were like, oh, put me on this list. I want to be on this list. Because obviously, if you tell someone they can't have something, it's that much more enticing. So why even put in a request in the first place?
No.
I think maybe, I guess it is, if it was to come to fruition and they were actually to ban the book and get it off the shelves. But we're very lucky here in Illinois and here in Des Plaines. I think it's like, even if you look at the top 10 most challenged books.
Can you read them off?
Yeah. Angelo, you want to go ahead and read them off? Like, and then we'll mention everyone that's YA.
Okay. Coming in at number 10. Let's see. We have Sold by Patricia McCormick. This is a popular one, but I am unfamiliar with it. Yeah.
I've read the Wikipedia article on it because the topic is about like sex trafficking in regards to young girls, like teenage girls, and that's a heavy topic for a child, let alone an adult. And I just couldn't handle reading it. And the reasons it's banned, or at least challenged, is it's claimed to be sexually explicit. There is rape, like it's not even just the explicitness. It's like very forward with what's in the book.
Should we have done trigger warnings?
We probably should have.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, so that would
Trigger
be...
warnings.
But that's the thing, you know, like, I don't think a book should be banned, but a lot of YA and high school books now, in the introduction, they do have trigger warnings in the beginning of it. And I think that's a newer thing, because I never saw that.
Definitely.
It's definitely in the passing, and I appreciate
Thank God.
it.
I appreciate it,
Yeah.
too. I remember reading a book when I was in maybe like a freshman in high school, and it was so sexually explicit in a way that I was like completely from out of left field. I was not expecting it. And it disturbed me so much, I like closed the book and threw it.
This one is a middle school book.
Yeah.
It's an award-winning middle school book.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Number 9, we have a book called Let's Talk About It, which, based on the reasons for it being banned and the title, is about sex education. And then we have a tie for 7 and 8. The first one listed here is Tricks by Ellen Hopkins. I think she might be the most challenged author or something.
I think
like that.
so.
She
A lot
has
of
a
her
few
books.
other ones on that list.
Crank.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she's also Crank? Okay. Then.
Yeah.
Tricks is a very large book, like 600 pages. And
But once again, that one's more high school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this one's poetry, which kind of...
In verse, I think.
Yeah, in verse. And it kind of talks about high schoolers taking drugs and the kind of downward turn from that. Tied with that is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jesse Andrews. This is a movie, I know that.
Yeah. And I meant to read it before this podcast, but I didn't get to it. I'm very curious to see if it's actually like something worth banning. I don't want to say nothing's ever worth banning, but you know what I'm saying? Like if there's actually something as strong as some of the other books I've read.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
I haven't read it. I think it came out during that time where high school books, for something, there's so many about, which is great, you know, about like people who have diseases or are disabled, but this is like where they almost romanticized it. And I think this came out with The Fault in Our Stars, and this was like around that time as well. Sense. But I think it's just there is a lot of swearing in the book. And so I think that's a big complaint of that.
Profanity is listed to be one.
Because
and it's before sold, which is like...
And that's what's funny, because I think despite it, like, I mean, Angela will keep going on with the list, I think, but profanity no longer is one of the top reasons for banning a book.
And yet it's like
on this one,
number
it's listed.
7.
So I think there's a lot of swearing.
There must be. I'm going to have to open this up now.
We will go into some of the books on this list, this top 10 list, more in detail for the ones that we read. Because number 6 is Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye, which I want to discuss in detail. Then number 5 is Flamer by Mike Corrado.
That's another graphic
it was
novel.
So
I think,
tame,
right?
though.
Well, it's a graphic novel.
It's a
though,
graphic
right?
novel. It's not even. It's like very cartoony. It's not even like realistic looking. It's
a lot of the graphic novel. I mean, the ones that are contested, I feel like they aren't super realistic looking in general. Even the number 1, which we'll get to, is not super realistic.
Number 4, The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. That's another one that's a very popular movie. Yeah,
I never read it. I did watch the movie.
Read half of it.
It was a little sad.
It was really sad.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it.
Number 3 is This Book is Gay by Juno Dawson.
Gay.
And number 2, All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson.
Very good book.
Both those books are memoirs of, I think, Juno Dawson. Are they trans?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
I saw them at ALA.
Wow.
They were,
cool.
they were interesting.
And then I think George M. Johnson, he's not trans, but his is a memoir about growing
he's a
up
gay
as
man.
a black gay boy.
Yeah.
It was funny because they were talking about a picture book that was coming out about banning books, and they banned the picture book. Like, the whole, as you continued to read the book, each page kept getting more and more censored, and it was just funny. So everyone was just chiming in on their experiences about getting banned, and they're like, it's okay because now I'm more popular.
Yeah,
Just like, there we go.
And then number 1 we mentioned earlier in this podcast, it's Genderqueer by Maya Kobabe. I'm guessing it's how you say her last name. And that's another one that's a graphic novel, and it's also a kind of a memoir, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, graphic novel memoir.
So of this top 10 list, was there anyone in particular you wanted to discuss, especially in regards to why you think it's such a target for book bannings? Yeah.
Well, I guess for me, especially since I read a few of these, like I read halfway through Perks, and I read Bluest Eye in high school. Both of those books actually upset me greatly.
Oh, okay.
I mean, with good reason.
With good, like, I would say both books have, like, very good writing. Like, they're enjoyable to read, but the content is so adult, even though they're, like, maybe... Are they pushed towards teens because they're for teens, or is it because it's just a classic, a literary classic?
So this was Perks and Bluest Eye?
Yeah.
Because, definitely, because they're both classics, yeah.
Well, I think Perks of Being a Wallflower is written with teens in mind. I think it's kind of written... Like, the writing style is not as adult as other books that are meant for adults. And then The Bluest Eye, I think, is meant for adults, but it's pushed towards high schoolers, I think, because the main character is a young girl.
9 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not high school, but, she's kind of growing up and maturing. And I think because, unfortunately, teens do deal with this issue.
It's true.
It's written in a palpable way for teenagers as well. Like, it is an adult book, but it's an easy read for someone in high school as well.
I mean, that's the whole reason why we keep books like these on the shelf, is because people do experience things in life. And, like, just because it's maybe more graphic or a darker experience, and you don't want everyone to, like, I don't know, no one wants anyone to experience the things that are, like, in some of these books, but there are kids and there are adults that have gone through these things, and they relate to these books, and, like, that's so important to share and for people to find comfort in the characters who are also going through things like them.
And this could be something, I don't know if this is proven, but this could be part of the reason that as time's gone on and banned books have become more amped up and you're seeing more challenges, it could be because with the Own Voices movement and now because these, even though they aren't necessarily popular experiences or we haven't experienced them, someone has experienced them and they're able to write about it and they're able to be on the shelf and they're able to be more popular. And people are speaking out more about these things where everything's not daisies and roses and rainbows and all that.
I want to say that even though these are like heavy topics and they do make you uncomfortable, especially like high schoolers who this is probably the first time they're actually like coming to face with a lot of these concepts, it is important to come to face with these because they develop your ability to sympathize with people who have had these like issues happen to them in real life. They expose you to other cultures and other ways of life, improving your like critical thinking.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then also they're exposing you to it. So if something negative in one of these books were to happen, maybe you know how to deal with it.
You can learn
now.
from it too. Mm-hmm. Or maybe your friend, I mean, I know like kids when I was a kid that stuff like this happened to kids, and maybe if I had read some of these books back then versus having read them now, maybe I could have helped them, or maybe they could have like found comfort in it or found an adult.
Yeah, or if they don't feel confident or comfortable enough to say what's going on with them, they can read about it and they can say, there's someone else who's going through this or who went through this like I did. Or
sometimes they don't even know what's happening.
And that's the thing. This gives them words where they didn't have it before.
Yeah.
I wanted to quickly kind of talk about The Bluest Eye. It's a good thing that we all read it here.
Yeah.
You didn't read it, Alicia?
You guys can spoil it. I don't care.
So I'll give you the
So
general
good.
synopsis, which is basically it's narrated from the perspective of a 9-year-old Claudia, but she's not necessarily the main character. The main character is her neighbor Piccola, and Piccola comes from like a very rough family. Both of these are teen African-American girls living in, like, I think, the 50s. Yeah.
I think so. Maybe sounds right.
So there is obviously depictions of, like, racism throughout the book. But this racism and these teenage girls trying to, like, understand it, it's clearly giving them, like, inferiority complexes. And Claudia's inferiority complex kind of manifests into her hating other, like, white children, especially. Whereas Piccola, her whole deal is wanting to become almost white, where she develops craving for bluest eyes, which she sees as being reflective of, like, white people.
And blonde hair.
And
too.
blonde hair, yeah. So it was a really fascinating way to handle just racism, because I haven't, like, read a plot like that before.
I forgot about that part of the book. I read that in junior year of high school, and the only thing I could remember was the sexual explicitness.
Yeah.
I think that one part was like, it was both pedophilia,
Yes.
I would say. And it made me very uncomfortable, so much so that like that's all I can remember of the book until now.
Yeah.
I do enjoy Toni Morrison's writing a lot, so I'll probably reread it in the future.
So I just finished it yesterday, and I was blown away by her writing style.
It's
very,
amazing.
It's very poetic, yeah.
It's like delicious to read.
Oh, yeah. I think I did not remember the sexual explicit part, but I remember the yearning she had for being a blue-eyed, blonde-haired girl. And I just remember thinking, like, oh, my gosh, that's
sad.
like to hate yourself and want to be someone so badly. I don't know. I'm not describing it well, but I really remember it making an impact. And I remember really liking the book. I also love Toni Morrison and loved her book Beloved as well, which is top 100 or one of the top 100 most challenged books, which I loved. I would read old Toni Morrison all the time.
Which Beloved is also often challenged and banned for similar reasons, basically sexual explicit content. But one of the things I read in the report that I found really fascinating, let me pull it up to get the exact words actually, was about how a lot of books targeting, young adult books, specifically like The Bluest Eye, which is about racism, a lot of people will focus on the sexual content aspect and try to label it as like pornographic. Because one, that's easier to ban than saying that the book teaches like critical race theory.
Yeah.
But also, if you are trying to ban a book because of teaching race and racism, that will label you as a prejudice, a racist, and they don't want to be labeled as that.
Yeah.
So they're going to go for the aspect that they're going to try to target. Yeah.
Which is so wild because as much as I was disturbed by the book, it was not romanticized. Like there was nothing about the sexual assault in the book that made you think it was okay. And I've seen tons of movies in which even like sensual scenes painted off as like something romanticized or like something desirable, even when it's like a scene that should not be painted in that way. And kids have like, I remember like being in first grade and kids telling me, oh yeah, I went to like see Freddy versus Jason and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, oh my God, like these books are not.
I know. I think it's interesting that you bring that up because I think it's funny too, because even Anne Frank's Diary of a Young Girl.
Yeah.
So true.
It's been challenged many times, but it's challenged not for its depiction of a young Jewish girl whose family is persecuted by the Nazi Germany, but for the passages where the teen discusses her changing body.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So it's like not about the gory, like awfulness that was happening all around her, but just the normal
Everyday
way.
things.
Yeah, hormones change your body.
And that's such like a statement about the way our culture perceives things. Like, you know how like war and murder and death and gore is all appropriate, quote unquote, for like young kids and adults to view. But when it comes to like your body, even just from like a platonic, like standing there, here's a body sort of way, it's like, oh, God forbid, don't look at it.
Well, like even in Gender Queer, the majority of the book, so it's the author, it's a memoir about kind of how they felt before they transitioned and after they transitioned, and a little bit about just, I think it's an interesting read and to see the images, to see how they view themselves and how their opinions have changed now that they have actually transitioned. Yeah. And I get why it's challenged with people kind of thinking like, I don't think it glorifies it in any kind of way or romanticizes it. I mean, like, when the author was younger, they struggled. I mean, like, the transition probably saved their life. But
100%.
The thing that they really argue about is, I think it's on one page, they draw themselves as a teenager naked. And that is really the part that people point out the most for why they're challenging that book.
Yeah. I think there might be a page where they're sexually explicit with...
Like another teenager?
Maybe it's another teenager, or it's them fantasizing about it with maybe another, like an adult that they look up to, which I can possibly understand that being concerning.
I don't remember that, but it's been
a while
since
I didn't remember until I
read
flipped through it a while ago, but those 2 pages in which, like, it's one panel each page. It's not even the rest of the book is actually helped me, like...
It's like $150 page.
Yeah.
$150 page book, you know. So, yeah, I mean, for it to really be those 2 little sections seems wild.
You could literally buy the book, take a Post-it note, cover it up, hand it to your kid, and it would still, like, it would be okay.
But it's so funny to me because, you know, you have issues with these books, but at the same time, kids are being exposed to this stuff every day, and they're seeing it all around them.
With no context, even. At least the books give context.
Some kind of context, and if they're not meeting someone who's going through this in their everyday, don't you think they should know about it to some kind of extent?
100%. I mean, I'm a queer person, so I kind of understand a lot of like the queer scene and stuff. And I would say the kids are a lot more educated in queerness and accepting people for being different than they are when I was in high school. But even then, some of the kids in the library will come up to me and be like, what do you mean when you say non-binary? Like, what do you mean she, they? Like, and I have to explain it to them. But then they're just like, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah, but then you wonder about them being so much more accepting and empathetic, partially being in part that they are so much more exposed to it through books like this and through memoirs like these.
100%.
Where, you know, people who maybe were against it weren't as knowledgeable about this material because they didn't read anything about it.
People also, it's all also like a power thing. They don't want kids to question adults. They don't want kids to question authority. They don't want kids to have the freedom to learn things at their own pace.
I think religion plays a lot into it too.
I mean, like, the whole thing is like, okay, here's something different that we don't want you to know about, so we're not going to let you see it.
And I think it's hard, too, because so much, like, I want the teens to be able to come up with their own ideas and their own thoughts. And even if it's something that I don't necessarily agree with, I want them to come to it themselves. Like, I remember...
Not just parrot someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's like, it's better to be there for your kid and for any adult that reads something and be there to have a discussion about what you've consumed and like be able to talk about your feelings and like maybe why this upsets you or maybe why this makes you feel good after reading it. Because like it's like when you leave someone in the void, either like you prevent them from accessing it, they get it, and now they have no one to talk about it with, or you let them like access the information and gain that power and then empower them further by teaching them how to like take that information and move forward with it.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we try to do here at the library. I mean, because, ultimately, I remember when I was at another library, one of my friends who would shelve books in the large print section, all the time she would find patrons hiding books. And so this was during when Obama was president, like people hid his memoir, but then they also hid Ann Coulter's books. And so it was like people were hiding both sides of the spectrum and both sides of the extremism.
I found ripped pages of books hidden in other places.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People will contest anything.
There's actually stats on this ALA report about it's under Books and Beyond. Basically, the percentage of ways that people have been banning or censoring attempts. 4% is vandalism, so just straight up destroying the book themselves or theft. You also got 4% access, so basically like saying that you're going to try to like close down the library, and then
which we have had happen.
Yeah, there's been extreme examples like of bomb threats. Which is
bomb
insane.
threats and like other things within the last few years.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, besides the list here, has there ever been a time where like you read a book because it appeared on banned or challenge lists?
Yes. Half this list.
Genderqueer was that for me. Blue Aside, I just read in high school and just savored that book. But Genderqueer, I don't think I would have read it. Not because I don't think it's important or anything. It's just not necessarily something I usually gravitate towards. But I do like graphic memoirs. But because it was challenged and brought up so much, I decided I needed to read it.
I remember when it was starting to become banned, all the librarians were passing it around like, here, look at this book. See why it's banned. Ooh, it was kind of funny.
Whenever I like look up, particularly like the books in these top 10 lists, and I look at it, and I read like the section that's like supposedly bad and whatnot, I'm just like, that's it.
That's it. Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, have you not been on the internet?
Yeah, for real.
I guess that's another interesting thing because if we are talking about banned books, the internet is so vast and a lot of it is not censored. That even if we're banning these books, don't you think they're going to find it online?
If you're giving your kid a smartphone with access to the internet, they're looking at way worse stuff than.
Oh, that's true.
You can literally type in like boobs and like on Google and like, gosh, it's gonna be uncensored, my dudes. Like it. What even?
Also, avid romance readers.
Oh my god,
those Alicia.
I love when the patrons come up and tell us what's their favorite book, and it's one of those saucy romances because then we go like, oh my,
it's true.
You're like, ooh, or my boyfriend read this book, and I'm like, oh, did he? And he liked it. Wow.
And it's so funny because I don't know, maybe if people were more open and discussing. So I think even having Banned Books Week it's highlighting something that's negative, but I think also it's putting this in the forefront and it's allowing people to discuss these materials and these topics. And once again, broadening people's perspectives.
They celebrate Banned Book Month or Book Month somewhere in Europe. I don't know who told me this recently. But I thought that's a great idea. Like, we should have a month where, like, we celebrate books and reading and, like, make it a whole thing.
It could be on, like, the anniversary of the Nazi book bannings from, like,
Maybe.
the 33. And,
I know there's, like, a Christmas tradition in another country that, like, they exchange books and stuff and read. Maybe it's on Christmas Eve. They read all night long until midnight.
That's
which
nice.
is like, oh, please take me there.
One thing I wanted to highlight, in addition to like this podcast as a celebration of Banned Books Week, Alicia helped set up a display on the third floor.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gotta come see it.
Thank you.
You can literally pull back little things and read things.
Oh yeah, the little book resumes are up there, and it tells you on the bottom which floor you can find them. The top 10 are mostly on the third floor, and then there's the top 20 of the past decade, there's a lot of picture books that are on the second floor. So those
Yeah,
are
most of
interesting.
those were picture books.
Yeah.
The gay penguins.
Yes.
The gay bunny.
Was there anything on there from the past decade or like that surprised you?
Yes and no. I mean, I kind of expected going into it, like what people were going to start challenging. And it's kind of your everyday stuff. I mean, it said 47% of the challenges this past year was just challenging LGBTQ and like BIPOC,
Yep.
anybody of color. So just limiting their voices.
Hunger Games is on there too, right?
Yeah, they said that was very violent. So I guess I can kind of see that. But also, there's a lot of other violent things out there right now. And that's probably the tamer of it.
Yay.
The amount of picture books surprised me.
Okay.
Yeah, I was surprised by that because I thought a lot of it would be more. Because I think for something like that, I think a lot of times, even Sarah, you were saying with the self-censoring, I think when these kids read it, they're not totally grasping what they're
No.
reading. So I mean, just kind of exposing them a little bit to it is not a bad idea.
I remember, I grew up watching anime, and there were some animes that I should not have watched. But at the time, a lot of the stuff that was like content that I shouldn't have watched, I didn't understand anyway. Like I remember one of my favorite animes I watched once in 7th grade, again in like junior year of high school, and then I watched it in undergrad. And every single time I watched it, I went, oh my, like I missed this totally thing. And then every single time I was like, how did I miss this? Kids aren't going to pick up everything.
Yeah. What
At
is
the
it?
time.
There's that Meredith Brooks song that's like I'm a bee.
Oh God, talking about music.
Oh, I know. Well, as a kid, I loved that song, but I didn't know what she was saying. I didn't understand that
Yeah.
word, so I always thought it was "I'm a bench." And
I'm
so
a
to this
bench.
day, my dad would like I would sing it for him, and he would just laugh because I would sing bench instead of the actual word. And
I was singing Spice Girls at 7.
there you go.
I didn't get what they were saying.
What's that one girl, Ice Spice, the one that they were
Oh,
showing me the
yes,
other day?
yeah.
She's singing about going to the deli, and she's not going to the deli.
No. And that's the thing, it's funny because these kids are going to be exposed to it and they're going to hear these words and they're going to hear these things. But if you don't have the context for what it really is, or if you just kind of treat it
Yeah.
lightly, or in a way where, because these books will explain it to you and you'll
Yeah.
see it from a memoir or from someone who's writing from that perspective of having experienced it.
That's the other thing I want to mention is that they're going to find this information out anyway because the internet exists. But at least this way, it's a healthier perspective to
Well, you're providing them the
Yeah.
knowledge to know about it, to know fully what it is, opposed to just hearing someone say it. And if something's popular, it's going to be popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to be exposed to it, and you'd rather know fully what's going on.
100%.
I feel like it'd be healthier for the parents to actually just sit down and have a conversation, go to the library together, and like see what
Really?
you're
Yes.
reading. And that's
Communication, people. Let's
the best
go.
way.
If I had a kid and I didn't want to have an uncomfortable conversation with them, I'd be like, "Oh, read this book here, and then let's talk about it."
right.
Yeah, let's talk about it from this person's perspective instead of my own.
Yeah.
Well, one of the questions you asked a moment ago was was there anything on the banned books display that you were surprised to see? I associate banned books with usually books that are targeting younger adults, so high schoolers. So I'm kind of always surprised when 50 Shades of Grey is on that display. I'm just that's clearly not meant for
Yeah. I think from what people have said is that it's an unhealthy depiction of sexual stuff in even a way that's extreme for that.
Okay.
So I think people are banning it or challenging it because of the sexual explicitness of it, but they're also challenging it because it's a very unhealthy depiction of it.
But maybe it's not. I mean, I think you can argue, you know what I mean? Even though it may be unhealthy to you, even just putting it out there and vocalizing it and having boundaries.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
around
People are
that.
challenging it because of their own opinions on it, regardless of
Yeah.
Challenge it for its bad writing.
yeah, for real.
Talk about the content.
Read
Or
the
just don't
original
read it.
Twilight.
I mean, I have friends who will go into little libraries in front of people's houses and censor it themselves because
Okay.
they don't. Oh yeah, they don't. They won't Well, to
so
be
much-
fair, if there was a book that was you're too fat, here's how to exercise maybe it's outdated, I would feel like, oh, I wouldn't want to see this, but I wouldn't do the censoring myself.
I just don't think you can make that call.
No,
I think,
like, yeah.
Who are you to make that call? I mean, I remember this was when Trump was first running, and there was, oh my God, his last name started with a Y, but he was very pro-Trump, and it was this young gay man. And I remember being kind of surprised because I was like,
Yiannopoulos?
Yes, I think that was what.
Yeah.
But he was publishing a book, and some libraries and some librarians were like, oh, I'm not going to buy that book. And I'm like, no, we're going to buy that book because we have to, and we should have any book that's published, and someone will want, it's going to be there. But I remember there was an article that I read where a bookshop owner was talking about how he was anti this guy and didn't agree with him. And then one of the questions they asked was, are you going to have this book in your bookshop? And he could have made that call of like, no, I'm not going to. Because I mean, I think with a library, we want to have every book on there, even if we don't necessarily agree with it. Yeah. If he owns that bookstore, he can say, no, I'm not going to have this book. But he was like, oh yeah, I'm going to have that book.
Yeah.
It's going to sell. He's like, I'm going to have it on my shelf.
And we got to talk about these things. Like, I think someone came in asking for Mao's Little Red Book. There's obviously things wrong in that book, but we need to have it to talk about why those things are wrong. Like, if you erase the bad stuff or the questionable stuff, then what are you going to compare the other stuff to?
The other thing, too, is, like, if you're against book censorship, you have to be against, like, censoring things that don't agree with your viewpoint.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's hard, too, though, because just to play kind of devil's advocate, I remember we had even just a program here where we had a talk about some books that are very, like, pro-left and on the side of, we weren't saying that we necessarily agreed with it, but we had some presenters of a podcast who oftentimes would interview the authors from these books. And we're like, would you ever have the authors of a book on the other side of the political spectrum? And they said no. And a patron was like, why would you do that? And they said because they were sick of hearing that point of view, and they said that they felt that that point of view had a platform everywhere else, that they weren't going to give it to them on their podcast. And so I get that view too. I think when you are such a minority opinion, why would you give, I think as much as I don't necessarily agree with what they're saying, I think discussion of both sides and all the points are important. If you really feel that you are the minority and it's an upward steep climb, why should you even give that platform to another
and then
voice?
All of that leads into like the topic of misinformation and like how libraries are supposed to provide the most accurate of information, and like
we're the non-biased ones.
Yeah, we're the non-biased ones, but we also have to like, well, if one side is saying this and it's actually not true, we're not going to promote that, but we also still want to hear the facts of the other side.
You have to.
You have to.
To be able to really form a total understanding and opinion, you have to know all the facts and everything as much as you can from all the sides.
Question everything.
And you should.
People are going to lie to you your whole life. Don't believe it. Just, like, don't believe what people tell you just because it's easy.
Yeah, don't listen to us.
Yeah, seriously, don't listen to us. Don't do it. I tell the teens that all the time.
Listen to us and then listen to someone else and then say, oh yeah, I'm going to listen to you.
And then talk about it with your friends.
So I did want to mention about, like, we had statistics from ALA. So these were actually, quote on their site, that these are just a snapshot of everything that's happening this past year. It's not the full picture because some reports never make it to them. So these are they come through book challenges filed by library professionals throughout the United States. There's news stories. Honestly, if you hear anything that isn't making the news, you should probably just go ahead and report it to the ALA. They have a link online through their the OIF office.
I know I have OIF on here too, and I have no idea what it stands for.
Office of Intellectual Freedom.
Oh, okay.
There you go. There's also a website called Unite Against Book Bans. There's a lot of ways they have on there to participate. They have tools for you to like print out and like distribute if you want to. This is an election year, so you should definitely vote. Make your opinion heard. There's also the option to attend your local library boards if you can, like, try to be on them. You make your own voice more influential, or at least go and tell them what you want to see at your library.
That's a good point, too, because we've had library staff here who have attended board meetings or protests where they weren't representing the library, but they came as a private citizen. You can do a lot for your community as a private citizen.
Yes. We mentioned the free little library. You should make one of your own. Put out challenge books or whatever books you'd like. And then always you can stay up to date. ALA has an intellectual freedom blog that I thought was pretty interesting just to kind of read what's going on in their side of stuff. And then also you can always go and read the other side.
Yeah. Read as much as you can.
True. And then also September is the month to get your library card. So get your library card.
Get your library card.
Support your library.
It's not very hard.
It's free.
You've got a
It is
library
free.
card.
We have a lot of things.
And this month, too, we worked with a lot of the organizations in Des Plaines for library card sign-up month, so you can get a discount just by showing your library card.
Yes.
Free money.
Okay. Well, I want to say when I upload this podcast as a joke, I should just like censor the entire thing. Just like one big like long beep sound.
This podcast was banned.
Brought to you by
There's your title.
Redacted.
Well, I want to say thank you for joining us. Lots of interesting things that we discussed about today. Definitely look at the ALA website and the Penn website to see the stats more in detail. Come to the library and check out the display. The display is really cool. And if you have any questions about banned books, we are happy to answer any of them. Yeah.
We can
Read
get
a
you a
band-
list.
Read a banned book.
You can tell us what you think of it.
Yeah, tell us what you think. I mean,
As
maybe
long-
not start a fight.
Yeah, as long as what you think isn't, it should be banned.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you do,
No,
let us
I'm
know.
joking.
Say, like, I mean, the thing is, if you were to preface it saying, like, this isn't for me, or maybe I didn't agree with this, but I think it should still be on the shelf, let's talk about it.
Yeah,
I
100%.
love book discussions where the majority of people hate the book. Some of those are the best
Oh,
discussions.
yeah, they are, yeah.
Let's talk
They're,
about
they're,
it.
they're easier to have than, like, when everyone likes the book.
There's nothing more to say then.
Read it again.
All right, once again, thank you for joining us today.